Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host, and we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here in Eggleston Square, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290 is the phone number, and if there's a block on your phone, star 82 gets you straight through. There's the information right there in front of you. Davey and the great staff here at BNN are answering the phones in the other room, so why don't you give us a call and let us know what's going on in your artful life. We always like to connect with some people. I also want to remind everybody that we are streaming live at www.bnn-tv.org. So if there's somebody outside of our general area of the Boston community, you'd like them to tune into the show, please give them that website, and they can log on, stream in, and call in and ask some questions if they'd like as well. We do get quite a bit of email from our friends outside of the city to asking us what's going on and telling us, you know, what's happening in their artful life. So please, thank you for joining us. It's a great pleasure to be here. I hope everyone had a safe school opening. It was great getting back to the gang over at Sacred Heart School in Roslindale. As you know, I'm the art teacher over there, and one of the exciting new things that's happening over at Sacred Heart is that we have put a television studio in the school for the kids to kind of learn a little bit about how television works and how producing a show and how hosting a show, and they're going to get hands-on experience as far as using cameras and all of that cool things. So we're very, very excited about all of that. I want to thank everybody that came down to see us play down at Rosendale Village at the Farmers Market. We had a great turnout last couple of weekends ago on a Saturday afternoon. It was iffy. The weather was, we weren't sure what was going to happen, but it worked out. No, I think I'm still over here. There I am. Thank you. Hello. But we had a great show. I want to thank my great friends Tim Casey, Andy Hungelunger, and of course John Norris, who joined me on the stage that day. We had an awful lot of fun. It's always fun playing outside with your mates, and we had a great crowd. So thank you very, very much for everybody who came down. A couple of things to remind everybody of: that Rosendale Open Studios is right around the corner. Rosendale Open Studios is a great event, the first weekend in November. And what it is people have an opportunity to travel around Rosendale, go to some public spaces where there's a whole group of artists, but also you can go to people's home studios and check out their working environment. That's what Open Studios is, and what it really should be about, is getting to see the artist in their environment, getting to see where they work, how they're inspired to do the work they do, some of the pieces that they've kind of tossed off to the side that they're not finished with yet, and it's always good to see them, and sometimes they're actually working on pieces, which is fun to see and fun to be part of. So that's the first weekend in November. I also want to thank our good friends MC4, who were on the show last time performing. They did a great job. Their new CD is doing great guns, great things. Why don't you, if you go to lowbudgetrecords.com, you can check it out, pick up your copy. You can also go to YouTube, put in MC4, which is the name of the band. Mr. Kurt is a good friend of mine, and we're always happy to have him in the studio here performing. So that was an awful lot of fun as well. And before we get into anything else, I want to make sure that I remind everybody who has asked outside, how do I get to see this show? If I miss the live performance or any of the repeats, you can go to YouTube, and the address on YouTube is It's All About Arts 1. If you go there, all of our past shows are being uploaded there. This one will be up there very shortly as well. And that's where you can go and enjoy some of our programming that we're from the past. It's good to do because we're always learning things, different things every time I come on the show, which is starting into my 16th year in just a few weeks. I'm very excited about that. We're going to have a couple of special things happening that night. But over the past 15 years, I have met so many musicians and artists and educators and anybody that's involved in the arts, teachers, benefactors, artists. It's always great. Kids, it's been an amazing experience here for us, and I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. We have a great guest tonight. We've got the Associate Director of Visual Arts from the Boston Center for the Arts is on today. We're going to spend a lot of time with her. We're going to talk about the arts in Boston. We're going to talk about that amazing group of great things happening over at the center, and so I want you to stay tuned for that. That's going to be an awful lot of fun, but I do want to take care of a little bit of business first. We're very, very fortunate to be associated with and partnered with an amazing organization called Boston Main Streets. Now, Boston Main Streets is a volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize business districts around the city. What they do is, excuse me, what they do is they help the property owners get the right kind of business in their storefronts. You know, I mean, like you don't want to have a nail polishing place every 4 or 5 storefronts. You don't want to have 4 liquor stores. You don't want to have, 5 Chinese restaurants. You want to have a nice mixture of what the people who are living and being benefited by that business district. You want to have the right kind of services. So what Main Streets does is they meet with the property owners and they talk to them about the demographic of the area, what the people need, what people are buying outside of the area, which is really, really important information for somebody that's starting a business, because you want to provide something that the people want. The other part, there's another part of the organization that helps once that business gets in the storefront down front. There's another part of them that helps with the design. There's all kinds of architects and artists and people who kind of know how to navigate the permitting process on getting your signage hung in the right size and it doesn't hang out over the sidewalk too big. All of that minutia that you have to go through, they help you with that. They also help you there's also some monies that's been set aside to help with the installation and fabrication of your sign. The stipulation is the grates have to come down. Now, we all know that if you're putting your entire life savings into a business and you need to protect it and you want it to be safe. But what all of the studies and all of the things that we have found out through the many years that Main Streets has been around is that once you start working on getting that business district into a viable and fruitful position, the grates don't seem to be as necessary anymore. I mean, people tend to respect their community, and it works. And it's worked in my community out in Rosendale. I mean, when we first started in 1986, when the now mayor and then city councilor, the great Tom Menino, was our city councilor out there, he brought this organization into Rosendale to try and see if we can't do something about getting Rosendale Square into the vibrant thing it is today. If you go down to Rosendale Square now, it is a destination not only for the people of Rosendale or the people in the immediate square who can walk down to there to get their wares or what they need, but people are coming from all over the place just to experience what Rosendale Square has to offer. That's what Main Streets does. They also have different events and things. Like this Thursday in Rosendale Square, St. Octavius, there's going to be a meet and greet for all the candidates who are running for District 5 City Council. So there's going to be at 6:30 down at St. Octavius, which is at the bottom of Belgrade Ave, right in Rosendale Square, right in the heart of the square, where you're going to get a chance to meet these candidates. You're going to get a chance to talk with them. They're going to get a chance to answer some of your questions. That's one of the things that they do. They also run the farmers market, which gets people down into the square to discover the different things that are there to be offered. So if you see an event going on and there are people running around with T-shirts that say Main Streets on them, thank them, because they're volunteers and they're only doing it because they love their community as much as you do. They're your neighbors and they're down there volunteering their time to make sure that their community is the vibrant, livable place it deserves to be. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about is this great building that we're in, BNN-TV. I was on the board of directors for many years. I was president of the board. I was treasurer. This is a building that has been in place and put here for you. It's some place where you can come and learn television production. It's also a place where there's 2 sides of BNN. One side is the news and information, which you're watching right now. And it's associated with nonprofits. Let's say you have a nonprofit out there and you want to get your information out to the public. You want to bring a guest in to talk about what your mission is. This is the place to do it. The other side is that if you just want to learn how to do TV and you're sitting there at home going, if this guy Williams can do it, I can do it. And that's true. You can. All you have to do is go to www.bnntv.org, click on Janice Williams' name. She is the manager of membership, or Jim Atwood's name. Jim Atwood has been involved in cable access TV for as long as it's been here. He has all the answers, and if you have any questions or fears, he's the guy that can probably calm you down and let you know that it's a great thing to do, and it really is. What they offer here is classes on using these amazing television cameras, how to do lighting, how to do sound, how to do your editing in Pro Tools, how to go out and do a shoot out in the neighborhood. So if there's a public meeting going on in your neighborhood and you want to, or a block party, or the softball tournament, or whatever, you can come and learn how to use all the equipment, sign out top of the line, state-of-the-art equipment, go shoot it, bring it back here, edit it, and put it on TV. So that's what BNN is all about, and it's a place for you. It is here not for promotional reasons, and it's not run by anybody else than community people. So if you go to www.bnntv.org, that's where you'll go to find out what it is all about. So, with that being said, all of that. We are going to be, we've promised this in the past, but it's going to happen this time. We've been culling through some of the old shows, and I mean old shows back to when we were over at the transportation building before we bought this amazing building here and moved our station. It used to be in 2 locations. Over in Roxbury, there was one on Martin Luther King Boulevard, was where one of the studios was, and the other one was in the transportation building downtown in the theater district. This is where we've combined everything and put it into one building, and this is where we come to do it. But we've been culling through some of the old shows because we want to show you how we have grown, and it's funny to see some of them. With me, look at my hair now, long hair and a beard, and you know, and all kinds, and so it's going to be fun. We're going to be showing some of those clips as little trinkets of the past in the near future, because we're very, very proud of what we've done here, and the producers that work on this show, Julie Flynn, Suzanne Schultz, Mr. Kurt. Over the years, we've really gotten a lot of great guests and done some decent programming that we're very, very proud of. So make sure you tune in and wait for that, and I'll let you know when we're going to put some of that up on our It's All About Arts 1 YouTube page. So anyways, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to look at a couple of videos out of the low-budget vault, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Oh, the great Suzanne Schultz isn't here tonight. She's out on location someplace. I'm sure she's doing something incredibly artful, as she always does. But we miss her tonight, and but we have Randi Hopkins here, and she is going to sit here and talk about art. After all, it is all about arts. And that's what we're going to do. So listen, gang, hang in there. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Sit back and relax. You are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, your host, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. Thanks.
I crash and burn. The rain comes down, the pavement's wet. I'm not alone. When you're with me, it's all okay. I crash and burn. The rain comes down. It's all okay. The speed of sound again. I barely feel the highway under my wheels when I am driving in my car. Driving in my car. Driving in my car. I see a part of America. I see apartment buildings next to discount warehouse. Driving in my car. Driving in my car. Driving in my car. I think of open places and I wish I didn't need my automobile to get by. Driving in my car. Driving in my car. Driving in my car. I reach the speed of light again. Air friction burning me too. There's nothing left but I'm still driving in my car. Driving in my car.
nice location.
Yeah.
And this young man's going to be featured at your...
He's already there.
He's already there.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your work. First of all, where are you from?
I'm from Azerbaijan. It was part of the Soviet Union. Now it's an independent country.
Okay.
Yeah. And about a year and a half, I moved to the United States.
Okay. How long have you been painting?
I started when I was 3 years old. So.
Okay. Did you study it? You studied in Russia?
Yeah, I studied. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're how old now?
I'm 16.
You're 16. Are you going to school here
Yeah.
in Boston?
No, I actually live in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Springfield? Oh, you're not from Boston. You're not living in Boston?
Yeah.
What kind of work do you do? Well, they got me. That's great. From the vault. I love it. Welcome back, gang. You are watching live from Studio B. My name's Glenn Williams. You're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. That was an old shot from the old building. Thank you for the surprise, guys. That was a great shot. I want to remind everybody that you are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. We're coming to you live from Studio B here at BNN-TV, and you're more than welcome to join us. Give us a call at 617-708-3290. And if you want to catch any of our old shows, please go to YouTube, and it is It's All About Arts 1. And right now, it is my great, great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Randi Hopkins. Hello, Randi.
Hi there.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Were you able to find us okay?
Very
Right
easily.
in the middle of the city. It's
Yeah.
tough not to find us.
Not too
right
far
on
from the
Washington.
BCA.
Welcome and thank you for coming in. It's great having you here. First, I want to start off by saying what an amazing, incredible organization and building and everything that you guys are doing. If you're the associate director of the visual arts.
Yes, exactly.
See, that's how big you guys are. You need associate directors and directors of different mediums and different things. Tell me a little bit about what the associate director of visual arts is responsible for over at the Boston Center for the Arts.
As you know, I have just started there.
Yes,
so
congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. I've been a fan and a visitor to the BCA for years, but now I'm learning it from the inside out. It has, as you said, this amazing campus where we have theaters, we have dance.
Remind everybody where you're located so we'll know exactly where we're talking about.
Yeah, right at it's 539 Tremont Street is the main building. We're on a beautiful plaza and brick right in the heart of the South End.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know us because the Cyclorama.
Cyclorama building.
is one of the fabulous historic buildings that's part of the BCA campus. But we also have the Calderwood Theater is there, and other smaller, more experimental theaters, and we also have the Mills Gallery, which is the
Yes.
art gallery, which is right there. So, and the Beehive. So
The Beehive is right there on the
which is
corner,
always very
too.
lively and
Yeah.
fun. So it's really a whole wonderful complex.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots in the city. I mean, I've gone to Black Box there many times. I enjoy that kind of theater. And of course, going to anything major in the big rooms has always been a lot of fun. Since you're coming new to this, where were you before? Where have you been?
Actually, pretty visible, I think, although probably my face, you don't know my face, you know my artist's face, but I ran a gallery in SOA for
you did?
years, the Alston Skirt Gallery.
Oh.
There with a partner, Beth Kantrowitz.
Oh,
we
okay.
started that and ran that for a long time, and closed in 2008, and I was curator at the Institute for Contemporary Art for a few years. So
You've got the chops.
I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. I love this community.
Yeah.
And then I was freelance for the last couple years and doing some teaching. But really, really happy to have to find a home at the BCA and in a great spot.
I'm very familiar with Sora. I've played there a couple of times at their outside their farmers market.
Yeah,
It's always very lively, and what a busy place.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the gallery experience. Was First Friday or First Thursdays there then?
I mean, it started while we were there.
Good, okay.
So we moved into SOA. We started out in Alston, hence the name, but I think we moved into SOA around 2001. No, I think like the idea of making that really a centralized area with a destination night for openings and starting to get a group of galleries who are interested in doing something lively and dynamic and really engaging the community down there. I think that really came into being while we were down there in those years.
And it has gone through the roof.
Yeah, I still love to go down
I
and
was
visit.
going to ask, do you still go down?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do you get the royal treatment? Look out here, Randy's here.
No,
Cup of
they're
tea?
too busy trying to make their sales and do what they do. But I love the dealers down there, and I love the artists. So my biggest trouble is I go down there and I feel I want to talk to everybody. It's hard to get in and out quickly. Lot to see, lot to
Well,
talk.
that's fabulous, and you know it's funny. One of our missions here is to get to know you a little bit. We're going to get to the Boston Center for the Arts, but I think it's so important that people get to know a little bit about. And I asked you a question earlier, and it didn't surprise me, but it might surprise other people. You're not an artist yourself.
No.
No. Is it just the love of the creative atmosphere that artists bring, or what? Why aren't you? I don't know.
Well, being a curator and being a gallery owner and also now being the director of visual arts programs, they're all a little bit different. But I think that and I'm a writer, and and I love writing about the arts. So artists create what they do, and that's a really passionate and interesting experience with a lot of different elements to it. But for some reason, I found early on that I could play a role mediating between artists and their public, and whether that meant helping them get their first show off the ground, or helping them rewrite an artist statement so anybody knew, what they were trying to convey, give out, or so those kind, just bringing in collectors to look at their work. And so I don't know, I've made a long career now of helping artists spread the word, I think, about their work and what they're doing. So that sometimes that one artist can't do that as well as someone who's a little bit removed from it.
Well, I'm going to humbly disagree with you that whether or not you're an artist or not. You're a writer.
Yeah, and I love to write.
Yeah, that's an art form. I mean, anybody that's creating, anything creative, that doesn't leave all them red squiggly lines underneath your words, is an art form. I believe. Was it a big step going over to the Boston Center for the Arts for you? That's kind of a...
Well, it feels really comfortable because I love that neighborhood. I feel like I'm back in the South End, has that great feeling. So that was nice. And no, I think I'm in a really... It's going to be a challenge because I'm overseeing a bunch of different kinds of programs than what I've done in the past. But I love being right in the center of Boston and having a place where not only I can show artists whose work I've been watching and I enjoy, but I also can bring in artists who people who live here don't know about, and hopefully really hit on things that will be of interest to our community. Right. So because people love to get together around art and talk and be together and socialize, and issues come up that it's sometimes easier to talk about in the situation of a gallery setting or a performance than maybe in a debate or so. And so I think trying to make a space, that's what we did with the gallery too, space where people like to come and get together and discuss what they're doing, what they're making. It does feel comfortable. I hope I can do all things I hope I am.
I'm sure you can. I think that one of the biggest things with a space like yours is meeting the artist. We don't get an opportunity enough to actually talk to the artist and say, where did this come from? Was this planned from the beginning? I mean, did you go and sit in that beautiful field? Did you take photographs? I mean, all of that kind of kibitzing and talking with an artist doesn't happen often enough. And I think people get a better appreciation of the art.
I mean, I think so too. You mentioned Rosendale Open Studios, but it's about to be South End Open Studios.
You guys have got it right too.
Yeah. So September 21st, 22nd, it's the Saturday and Sunday coming up. I mean, it really is, that is your chance. I mean, at the BCA, there's an artist studio building there, so we have our own group of artists who participate, and the whole neighborhood goes wild for this. The people that from the center that participate in open studios, you have artist lofts there, you have places where people work, there's studios. So that's an opportunity for people to come in. Because I have been a steadfast, I love getting as many artists as you can into it, involved in it.
But sometimes these public places where you have 15 or 20 artists, sometimes it's just too much. But I love these places. Hyde Park has one in one of their buildings where you go in and it's like these hallways of people that are working and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really where you get to find
there
out.
is just studio after studio. It's 4 floors. It's everybody's really different, and you know they're just there to talk to you. And it's true. People who are in the arts a lot like to come to openings for that reason, because you know the artist is going to be there. You can talk to them and ask your questions and see your friends. But open studios is a great introduction to exactly that. To walk in, you're in a really intimate setting, right where people are creating their work. And you know, if you look in a door and it's work that doesn't appeal to you so much, you can just pass
There's
by
another door down the hall
and go to the next. And just look, but go on in and say just what you're saying. Where'd you make that? What's that material? Or, you know, how'd you think of that? How long you've been doing this? Artists love to talk. A lot of them do.
A lot of, some of them, but not as much as others.
Right, but people get intimidated. They think they have to ask like a really tough question or a really intellectual question, but a really simple question usually can get you into a good discussion.
That was one of our original missions here at It's All About Arts, was to, and I hate to put it this way, but I think it's kind of close to what people think, humanizing the artist. Making them a person that you can address and talk to. Because I've had people say, I can't go down to Newbury Street. They don't want me down there. I don't have that kind of money. It's not about that. It's about meeting the artist, understanding not how to appreciate art. I understand that. I know what I like when I see it. I dig that. But if you get to talk to the artist and you go, oh.
Yeah.
There's that, oh, that's really, really exciting. You use the word, and we use it all the time, but we never get a chance to kind of describe it or go through the motions. Curator. Is a curator's job just hanging up the piece and making sure it doesn't fall down?
It is an important
that's
part
an important
of it.
part. I know it is, but not putting greens with oranges. I'm not sure. You know, what would you define your role as a curator?
It's such a good question, and it's a question that's evolving. I think the idea, I mean, a curator used to be a scholar and an academic, and even someone who just plain took care of the objects in a collection. The curator had a conservation kind of but in today's contemporary art world, no, a curator is really someone who is out there looking at a lot of different kind of work. That's at least how I would define it, and starts to have a vision of things that might go together in an interesting way, and then has kind of the ability and maybe the some kind of access to a space to put on a show, the wherewithal to bring these things together with a good idea, and you know, and put something together that becomes more than the sum of its parts.
Right, right.
And to get it up on the wall in a
So
way
that it doesn't fall down. Yeah.
Exactly.
What's more challenging, a group show or a solo show?
Very different kind of things. I mean, a group show can be so much fun if you're doing something. We have a really exciting group show coming up at the BCA that's going to open on October 4th, which is called About, With, and For. And it's 8 different artists and artist collectives. And all of these guys are involved in very different ways in work that's based on different kind of folklore traditions, but they're very contemporary, but they take old practices. They're very communal in the way they work. We have a group who are an artist collective who make boats based on Civil War era patterns, right?
Wow.
And they're going to be doing that, and you're going to be able to
Crafting boats,
yeah,
not painting boats.
and they're real boats. They
float.
sailed in one
Yeah.
in the Charles. We have like 2 boats that they actually just real boats. Make them, and we're going to have workshops so you can learn how to do that. We have this great group of guys called the Fixers Collective, who you're going to be able to come in and bring your alarm clock or whatever. but the deal is, it's not, you don't bring it so they fix it. I think you sit around a table. It's conversation. It's folk craft. It's making. It's
That's
labor.
Great. That's great.
And it's the exchange of ideas.
That's fascinating. Yeah. I think that that kind of interaction is so important to people who see. I think everyone's an artist. I just don't think everyone's been discovered yet. I just think that everybody has that ability or aha in them when they get to create.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes all it takes is going to an interactive type of thing. They're popping up everywhere. These places where you go to paint and it's a little wine and cheese and and people get to paint and socialize with their friends. And I've talked to people that have come out of there and gone, Glenn, look at this. I'm an artist. And I say, of course you are.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, it's interesting that you say that there's not only hands-on, but there's workshops. Can I go and learn something aside from, can I go and take a watercolor class?
So the BCA does not particularly have classes like that. I think some of the artists in the Artist Studio building are involved with that, and you could certainly come to us and help. We'd help you direct you to places in the neighborhood where you could do that. We tend to do programming that's connected with the exhibitions at the Mills Gallery and with our artist residencies. So in a certain way, they're a way to learn more about the show and to get deeper into the art that we've brought together in the exhibition. But right now we have up the drawing show, which is a really 25 different artists experimenting with drawing in every kind of different way. And we've had 2 recent workshops about that, where people can come in. One was a drawing class with one of the artists in the show who does installations on the wall, and the next one was with someone who works with actually slide projections. So that's an afternoon. It's free. You drop in, and again, you just spend a couple hours sitting with people. Everyone's at really different levels of expertise or ability, and even a person who comes in thinking they don't know anything about the show or about whatever's offered, I think is going to come away having spent a really nice afternoon doing something, that feels good, that's creative. Yeah. So, but no real sign up for a class, 8 weeks or whatever.
Watercolor 101.
Yeah, not that there.
No, but
we
you
can
are a
help
resource.
you find
You
it.
are a resource, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how long has the center been in Boston?
That I wish I could say. I think it's from the 60s. I don't know that well. I think starting in the 60s.
I know I've gone there in the 70s.
Okay.
So I think you're close.
All right. Good. I didn't start going until the 90s, so I
Okay.
think that's, but I don't know for sure.
Without telling anybody how old we are.
Yeah.
I was a little baby.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the Boston Center for the Arts, and I'm visiting from Mars, and I've been asked to come in, and this is the place for me to go. What can I expect when I walk in the front door?
If you're coming into the Mills Gallery, which I think is what you're asking, which is our art gallery
Yeah. Everything else there's things happening, but that's the walking off the street.
That's the walking off the street. And I'm going to say, before you even actually get to the front door of the Mills, we've had artist residents activating the plaza there. So I think as soon as you step onto the cobblestone plaza there, you're going to find art on the plaza. Right now we have these interactive kiosks. You can come. We're actually partnering with the MBTA. You can tap your Charlie card. It doesn't charge you.
Does it take off 40 cents? No?
And if you don't have your Charlie card, there's one where you can get one there. But tap a card and you get stories about the neighborhood, and lights flash at night. It's really fun. That just opened up. But if you come into the Mills Gallery, you're entering what looks like a beautiful 2,500 square foot art gallery. There will be people there to talk to you about what's on view if you want. They're very knowledgeable if you're interested. Otherwise, you can just wander around and look at the beautiful shows.
Yep.
Lots of material and information there, and that it changes about every. I think it's about every 12 weeks. There's
I was going to ask how many shows a year you do. Yeah. That's pretty ambitious. That's
it's
a
like
lot
5
of work.
shows a year, and then lots of, sometimes during a show we'll have a workshop or a dance performance right in the show.
Right.
Lots of, the BCA's website, it has such a wealth of
What is that
information. It's bcaonline.org.
Oh,
and
okay.
you can. There's also a Facebook page. You can friend the BCA on Facebook, and there's just really there's always a lot of stuff going on. But the visual arts, which is my love, there's programs posted all the time. We try to have an exhibition that you can really immerse yourself in, and then also additional information there, programs that you can come back to, so you have a chance to get to know the work deeper.
We both know Boston really well, the art scene. How does a local artist from Rosendale get their work shown at a group show? I mean, how is the submission? What's the juried process?
Well, so interestingly, the BCA has, each of its shows is created by an invited curator. I get to invite curators, and rather than having a curator for the gallery, which is more traditional, I am looking for people curating shows. So artists, they need to make sure they're doing all the things an artist does to start getting their career and their name out there. Be in juried shows, submit works when there's open calls for shows, go to shows, get to know the people who are putting shows together here. Talk to your friends, make a show and propose it to me.
You and I both know that a majority of the artists that we deal with paint something beautiful, look at it, oh, isn't that nice, and they put it down, and they start painting something else. That whole business end is sometimes very foreign and scary to them, because art, let's face it, art is such a part of my chest cavity that that you're asking someone, is this good? Is this okay? It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Is there a way besides joining, one of the local brokers or something, that people can get some information on how they can further their career?
Yeah.
Through the arts. If someone came in and said, I'm this artist from Rosendale, I have all this stuff, I don't know what to do, where do I go?
Well, I hope that we do some programming around this coming up, because I also, we have that artist studio building there, which is full of artists with lots of different experiences of, as you say, making your work, and then what your kind of personal and professional goals are for who's going to see your work. Everybody's really different about that, and it's hard to get information, but I think we try to do programs so there's some professional practice involved, but I don't know, I know how hard it is, but I do just always encourage artists, talk to each other, talk to the dealer. We're all people.
Maybe a forum or something would be cool, where some of the residents would sit with local artists and they go, don't forget to frame it.
Yeah, well, right.
Sign
Where
it.
do I go to frame it?
Yeah,
Who pays to frame it? Does my dealer? I don't come and talk to us, though. I think these questions are on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah,
and
they are.
We're all just people. I mean, I think, as you say, nothing.
We are. We're nothing scary about it.
I mean, come and ask the question, and see how you can find that out.
Right. Now you wrote for the Phoenix, the Boston Phoenix, or the Phoenix?
No, Boston Phoenix for almost 10 years, and I love that paper and I miss it.
Were you doing the art?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
The Boston Phoenix and the real paper were staples of mine through. I just needed them.
Yeah.
One on the way to school and one on the way back.
Well, what I liked about writing for the Phoenix, I wrote every single week at a column, and it was a heads up, because Boston actually has so much going on in the arts that it was a column about this is what's opening in the next couple weeks. Now you can go to the websites, but at that time, I think that was pretty helpful.
That was great.
Yeah.
Because I did it for music. Where was I going to, because we were pushing music in our high school days, and it was great taking the train to Cambridge and then coming back and reading each way, you know? It was just such a great thing. Yeah. You also mentioned that you teach. What kind of teaching do you do?
I teach art history and also curatorial practice at Simmons. I do.
Oh, you're over Simmons.
Yep. So that's been something I've enjoyed a lot. That's new for me. But I do teach young people how to be curators, which it's hard to teach. You teach art. So you know how hard this kind of things are to teach.
It's hard to teach how your eye sees things.
Yeah.
And that's why I go with, especially with the younger citizens. Here's how to use the tools. Here's how a screwdriver works. Yeah. What you hang on that screw is going to be up to you, but here's how you do it. Yeah. And I think that's such an important aspect that people forget. I mean, I run into art teachers that have told me, that house is wrong. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's a long process getting good, figuring out how to say what you're interested in saying with these tools.
I love getting somebody with your background and your experience in the chair, because I love to ask this question. It's that's right. You should go. Here it comes. But I think it's an important question, and people often give me different answers. We have art, we have craft. We have arts and crafts. Does it ever, is there a line? Is there a line where something stops being craft and turns into art? What stops being arts and crafts and turns into fine art? Or is this all just a creative experience?
I mean, I think the realization that it's a continuum and a spectrum with no hard lines has been a lot of the story of contemporary art.
Yeah.
That's why a show like our next show, these come out of, I mean, people are making banners and boats and nothing you would associate with traditional fine art technique. Same thing with the drawing show, you know, since when is a slide projector considered a drawing? Or,
Right,
you know,
right.
we've blurred the boundaries since the 60s and really since the 80s, but even all the way back to, like, you know, the 1920s, and Picasso brought craft kind of oriented. So that, I think it is a myth, but we are always trying to figure it out. What is art? It's so important to us.
It really is.
We want it to be something special. It is something special. So I think the dynamic of that line shifting and following is kind of part of what's so important, I think, is us trying to figure out, because art feels like something different than the everyday. We know a basket can be an artwork, but just knowing how to make a useful basket, like we see a distinction there.
Right.
So
yeah, I've had people say, you know, ceramics is craft.
yeah,
And I go, I've seen some unbelievable
yeah, you
ceramics.
can't say that anymore, right? There are absolute fine artists working in that medium. So,
I'm glad you were here to ask that question too, because it comes up here a lot. You know, where someone will say, well, I'm a crafter.
yeah.
I can't be in open studios. I'm a crafter. And I'll go, did you make it? Do you like it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, then I think that you should be considered an artist. You know, I want to thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And listen, I want you to bring this back to the Boston Center for. Is there anything we need to know that's coming up right away? You got a new show coming, but there's something hanging now.
Well, we have the drawing show
Yep.
is up, and it's fantastic, and it's up until September 22nd, so it's going to be up during this Open Studios weekend.
Great.
Come to the BCA for Open Studios. That's going to be really fun. We're going to have a passport that you can get stamped depending on how many studios you go to. Put in a card, win a prize or so.
We call it home bingo.
Yeah, I like that. So there's that. And also, though, if you're just walking by there at night, with the tap your Charlie card on one of the kiosks. That's
get a
really
cool
a lot
story.
of fun. Yeah. So that's what's happening.
Well, Randy, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure.
And bring back to the center, please, this invitation. If you guys have an artist that's coming in, or if you guys just want to show off, or, you know, please give us a
we always
call.
like to show off.
Artists, we can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
Please make sure you give us a call and let us know, because we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
on
Oh,
anytime.
thank you.
Thank you
That's
so
been great.
much. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. We just have a minute left. I want to take that opportunity to thank everybody who's been tuning in. Thank you up in Albany. I see you up there. I've gotten your emails. Thank you very much for tuning in. Also in Portland, Oregon. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Huh?
My hometown.
Portland? You're from Portland?
Yeah.
Really? My daughter lives in Portland.
That's a fantastic city.
She's been trying to get us
You
out
wish-
there. I gotta go.
You have to
Yes,
go.
I know,
Of
I
course.
know. But thank you very much for being part of our program. Listen, gang, get out there and do something artful for yourself. Go to the website. Open Studios is coming up. If you go to it'sallaboutarts.com, there's all that information there for you. All kinds of things happening in this amazing city of ours. It's not just an election year. It's an artful year. Please get out there and do something artful. And like I like to say every week, please, keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil, please. There's lots going on out there, but please, do something artful. Do it for them. They'll love you for it. You'll love it for it, and I'll love you for it. Listen, gang, we'll see you next week, okay? Thanks an awful lot for being here. Good night now.